So I can start off the bat. So my name is Irfan. I'm 24 years old. I'm originally from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I spent the last 4-ish years in the United States, and I moved to Finland in August 2022. I'm currently at the University of Jyväskylä, and I believe my pronunciation of the word is getting better and better with the few months that are past. But the issue with me is I've never been really the type of person that can fully learn a language through formal teaching, because I think everybody, when they're learning a language, they have different requirements, different interests. And sometimes, there are some basic interests that you're going to learn in a class. You're going to learn how to order a drink at a bar. Everybody's going to need that at some point, or, find the milk in the grocery store. But at a certain point, you get to a thing where all of your interests can't possibly be met necessarily with a class. And an issue that I've also found with, and I'm 24, and I can imagine what it's like when you get much older. When I was a kid, when I was, for example, learning English or German, I would just watch TV. But I don't have the time anymore where I can just, sit back, watch a cartoon, and somehow magically expect the language to get into my ears. So through that, I met a local Finnish student who's been working with some refugees and has a lot of experience with language teaching. And she recommended this app like Yle Kielikoulu. And I'm a 24-year-old Gen Zer. I'm addicted to my phone. So if I can kind of try to find something that is going to move me away from a bad addiction to a better one, that's a very good thing. So I installed the app on the phone, and quite literally, whenever I wake up nowadays, I just put in my headphones in my ears and I'm exercising and I'm listening to the news. I'm listening to some long broadcast. And you can get a couple of words every now and then. But the beautiful thing where this is substantially better than I mentioned a little bit when I was a kid, I would just watch TV, which was easy with, let's say, German or English, because it's somewhat close to my language. There are a couple of words that the logic builds. With Finnish, there isn't that much logic. The few words that I've seen that are familiar, it's like radio, televisio, and that's pretty much it. So if I'm listening to the news, I'm like, I know it's a politician. I can recognize a couple of these words. But the brilliant thing with the app is the second I'm done listening to this while I'm exercising, I sit down, I grab my coffee, and then the back end of the app actually has a transcript of everything you've listened to. And then you can actually go through the words. And something that I really liked about the system was, first of all, it's adjusted in a sense that you're actually progressing through the words in a way that makes sense, meaning that I'm not starting off with, some random quantum mechanics in Finnish. I start off with, this is how you say these colors. This is how you say these numbers. These are the politicians. And it was kind of interesting to, learn some basic Finnish terminology related to the election, because every morning I was listening to the election. And in that way, if I hear somebody even in the streets, mentioning, oh, vihreä kokoomus or something like that, oh, I kind of know what you're talking about. I don't know exactly, do you like them or not, but I roughly understand what you're talking about. And it's on some level, I described it in an email. It's kind of like this perfect cross between Netflix and Duolingo. You're getting the chance to actually listen to the real language as it's progressing, as it's being created and given into the medium towards people that actually speak Finnish or any other language, but in my case, I guess Finnish. And you're also getting this chance to actually review terminology that might be interesting to you. So then I can adjust myself. Like literally this morning, I started off with, let's look at the news, and I listened to something about the COVID pandemic. And maybe an hour before this interview, I was listening to a documentary about how the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991 impacted the Finnish economy. You don't have the time to put that into a single class in a day. And I doubt everybody would be like, oh, yeah, let's listen to how the Soviet Union's collapse impacted the Finnish economy. That must be super interesting. Yes, that's honestly what I really appreciate about the app, and I hope to see it grow. So it's a phenomenal starting point that I would love to see, go broader, go further. And I think it's a great tool for integration, especially nowadays when, people, I'm not going to get too political, but people have different viewpoints of what is the value of immigrants in a different society. And with some of those viewpoints, I can sympathize, or okay, sympathize is a strong word. I can understand where the viewpoints are coming from. And I think a good response from, people that are moving to different countries can be like, listen, we're making the effort. If you give us the opportunity, we can make the effort. And I think this is a, great place to start for people.